Tijuana Jackson is the perfect movie for quarantine. It's the comedic tale of an ex-convict with dreams of becoming a motivational speaker, and we got to speak with the creator himself.
For me, I just believe that if you're gonna be a life coach, you gotta be a life coach 247 because life is a full-time job.
Why you always gotta speak in parables?
I'm gonna need travel permits once the take off.
I'll think about it.
What you mean you're gonna think about it?
Do you need me to speak in parables too?
Francesca, nice to meet you. I'm Romany, for those of you who don't know. I'm doing well. I've been very busy during quarantine. I've been trying to build some things. I've been working on an app. I have a YouTube channel that you gotta produce content for. It requires a lot of research. And I've been promoting this movie.
Yes, we're super excited about the movie. This character has been around since 2013 on your YouTube channel.
Well, you know what? This character's been around since 1999.
Oh,
this character was born before some of the people watching this video.
I believe that. To be honest, this character is my uncle, so.
That's all I want to hear, really. I want everybody to look at this character and be like, yo, I see this character in me, and if not in themselves, I hope they see it in somebody in their family. You know?
Yeah, definitely. So for people who don't know what we're talking about, congratulations on the film. Originally, it was on YouTube. We've been watching the episodes. Hilarious character. I call him TJ, Tijuana Jackson. And now it's becoming a film, an incredible film coming out on July 31st. Can you tell us a little about the film?
Yeah, the film comes out Friday, pretty much anywhere that you get your movies. Amazon, iTunes, Apple TV, any on-demand platform, really. And it's about a guy who gets out of prison and wants to be a motivational speaker. But his probation officer, played by Regina Hall, has got other intentions for him because the stipulation of his parole says he has to get a job, a 9-to-5 job. But he's got bigger dreams than that. And so it's like how he's trying to, work with the system to get what he wants while not going back to jail, and thus providing the system with what they want. It's kind of hilarious.
Yeah, it sounds hilarious. And this is the perfect film during these times. Like, we need to laugh and be entertained. So thank you for creating this.
No, definitely. Y'all, how many people in the audience right now know who Tami Roman is? If you know who Tami Roman is, let me tell you, she is uncomfortably real in this film, yo. She is, I had never seen her act in anything before. I know her from reality TV. But putting her in this movie was amazing. And I think a lot of people underestimate how much acting really goes on in reality TV.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot more scripted than people give it credit for.
Yeah, definitely. You can tell that there's a lot going on. It seems like very taxing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just a lot of acting, though. It's not all spontaneous as you think.
Right. No, I believe that. So with Tijuana Jackson and with the film itself, you're directing, you're producing, you're in it. Being an independent media, can you tell us how you went about that as far as like fundraising and getting promotion for the film? Because it's just really hard getting promotion for films if you don't have a major studio behind you.
That's a fact. And I think, from the very beginning, I took all these things into consideration. So the first thing I took into consideration was that if I made the film for too much money, the likelihood of the film making a profit would be difficult. The likelihood of selling the film for a profit would be difficult. And so I didn't really want to sell it. I wanted to keep it. I wanted to own my film. I wanted to say, this is mine. So casting Regina Hall was key because it's important to have a celebrity, some star power, because that star power is, one, going to incentivize people to see it. It's going to raise the value of your film, and it's going to make distributors want to buy it because they're going to rely on that star power when they start marketing the film. So hiring Regina was one thing. The crowdfunding campaign was another thing where, the YouTube audience, I really made this character years ago for people who grew up like me, and no one ever told them, yo, dog, this is how you invest money. This is how, this is what self-empowerment really looks like. This is the decorum that you need when in a classroom or in a business setting. This is the etiquette that you need in approaching investors. No one taught me none of that. So I created this funny character who was over the top and smoked cigarettes. And I used that character to kind of carry that message. And so the character and the comedy was like the Trojan horse. and that would get us on the platforms and in front of the people that I wanted to speak to. And then I would start breaking down the stuff that I had learned over the years. And that audience actually said to me, dude, you need to make this into a movie.
Oh, wow.
And they were like, start a crowdfunding campaign, we'll pay for it. And that's what happened. I started a crowdfunding campaign, and I put up the first money, and then they put up, like, literally, I put up a third, they put up a third, and then my investor put up the rest. So,
that's beautiful. Strong support system then.
It is a strong support system, and it's also dope because it was like I was talking to these kids, trying to help empower these kids, help them have a bigger vision from themselves, because I made the character for poor people, right? You know, the disenfranchised youth, the one that America kind of writes off like, and I'm sitting there trying to tell them how to empower themselves, and they turn around and show me how to empower myself. I thought that was pretty hilarious.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I think the best characters in anything, they come from real life stories and from experiences that we're going through. It's authentic, it's engaging. And Tijuana, excuse me, he seems just like he's very intellectual. He just has a different approach to things, you know, and the way that he speaks about things. So maybe people may not take him as seriously per se. So what was the message behind that? Were you trying to kind of dismantle that stereotype?
Yeah, well, you know, it wasn't that I was trying to dismantle the stereotype, really. It was just that I was trying to explain that, like, if you go through enough hardships in your life, if you have a dysfunctional enough upbringing, and you don't come from a household that equips you with the necessities of how to survive, especially as a person of color in the United States of America, you kind of assed out, you know, because there is just, like I said, there's just, you know, you got to know when to hold them. You got to know when to fold them. You know, there's a game that's being played, and that's how we break out of the caste system of the United States of America, of where you're in, where they want you and where you're intended to be versus where you actually want to be. There is a process, and that education and the resources for you know, to achieve that aren't really made available to people under a certain income bracket. And you know, I felt like I was going to be the Robin Hood dude that was going to go get the information and bring it back. And I used this character as a way to do it so that you're laughing the whole time and not feeling like you're being preached to, you know? And then the other part of it is that there's a lot of brothers like TJ, like you said, you saw your uncle.
Yes.
You know? And that's, you know, and that's the whole point, is that if you grow up in a certain household where the hardships and the dysfunction is really prevalent, and then you're being shuffled in and out of our prison system, maybe even juvenile hall, you learn your method of survival is very different from the survival of someone who spent all their life on the outside. And
absolutely.
So there's a lot of, like, 1 in 4 black men in America go to prison. And so there's a lot of us who may be a lot like TJ, and like, you know, rather than write them off, it's kind of important to understand what their struggle might be. You know what I'm saying? And
exactly.
So, yeah. And so me growing up, I've always been soft. I was the soft dude in the hood, right? I make you laugh. I could tell you a rap. And, you know, when my buddies would, their friends would, or their brothers or family members would get out of prison, you know, people kind of, when you get out of prison, people kind of like, oh, they kind of
like, what'd you do?
The community ain't messing with you like that. And I was always so soft, I could never turn my back on these brothers. So I would end up on some double dates I ain't had no business being on. I'm not even kidding. I can recall sitting in the living room across from a woman who was way too old for me, waiting for me to do something, while my boy, who just got out of prison, was in the bedroom with his girl. And I was like, I ain't got no business here.
Yeah. Like, what we about to do? Let's be real.
Yeah. Right. I've dropped these dudes off in neighborhoods I ain't had no business in. I've sat waiting in houses I ain't had no business. Like, I've been in some places, but it's like, I also learned to develop this empathy for dudes in and out, because I never really turned, even, I don't know how many people in the audience have seen 40-Year-Old Virgin. If you've seen 40-Year-Old Virgin, there are 2 Indian guys in that movie, and one of them's really tall. His name is Shelly Malil, the tall Indian dude. He ended up in prison for stabbing his girlfriend.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and like, you think anybody from Hollywood was messing with that dude? I would drive down to San Diego, see him in the detention center, write him letters, because it's always been who I've been. I don't even know what that is, honest to God. You know, I guess I just really feel for people that society kind of turns their back on. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
That's how, you know, that's how I learned, how I really started learning what was the experience of being someone on parole, and how the system is set up to disenfranchise you even more as a felon, right?
Yeah.
And so I wanted to show people that, because like when I look at George Floyd, when I look at like Rashad Brooks, I saw that video of Rashad Brooks talking about the fact that, yo, man, you know, I've been through this kind of stuff. Yeah, you know, and I made some mistakes, but I'm human too, and I'm trying to clean up my act. And I was like, that was TJ.
You have an incredible message. I love Tijuana Jackson's message, just about, you know, not judging people who have gone through things. I think your life is a testimony on how you've been with your friends and like people in Hollywood, how you've stuck by them regardless of what's been going on. You were that person who showed up. So I think you have that firsthand experience, and I think this movie is going to be incredible. I was going to ask you though, if you felt there were any elements of TJ in you, like specifically?
Oh, without a doubt. I feel like, honestly, me and TJ are kind of living parallel lives, because, you know, this character, I'm trying to defy the caste bias of Hollywood, of the Hollywood system. He's trying to defy the caste bias of the judicial system, right? We're both in situations where, you know, the system wants us to acknowledge our place and accept it. And it's done quite a bit to keep us in that place. Like, I think Hollywood would be most content having, you know, people of color just basically, you know, be grateful for employment. And I don't think that Hollywood really ever had the intention to like have to, I don't think Hollywood was ever open to the idea of like unadulterated voices of color, because that would then contradict the narrative that Hollywood has kind of helped perpetuate in the, you know,
the characters and the roles, and
the acceptance of the current America. You know, you know, I don't think that people understand how big business, government, and Hollywood, you know, work together to propagandize the country, and how and create narratives, how the food industry might lobby to have certain things put into more TV, and then so they will lobby, and then, you know, the politicians, the government will then create financial incentives for Hollywood to include that stuff in the film. So I'll give you a prime example. You're sitting down watching a sitcom, right? And in the sitcom, a family of 4 come down the stairs, sit down at the breakfast table, and they start eating cereal. And you're in theta state watching that, and you're just absorbing that information as though it's fact, and it becomes a you know, a normal practice in your life, and you don't even notice that it did, because it was planted in your subconscious while you were vegging out in front of a television. That's
over and over again.
Over and over again. That's on purpose. And so now you equate sitting with your family eating cereal as a mark of being a healthy, happy family or successful family. Meanwhile, what you're really doing is you're just basically setting your kids up for fatty liver. Real talk. Right?
Yeah.
And so that's just like a mild example. But if you look at all the other things, you know, according to history, all these monuments that are coming down now were once heralded. These were heroes of America. Hollywood helped perpetuate all of that, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think that as we begin to empower ourselves, just people of color, and, you know, begin to empower ourselves, our narrative is more than likely going to contradict the existing Hollywood narrative. And so that's part of it. I think the other part of it is that, like, if it was my job to write some white woman's, hell, not even a white woman, any woman, if I had to write some woman's life every single day and broadcast it to the world, my depiction of life as a woman, broadcast it to the world every day, and then every time a woman stepped out of the house and they didn't live up to this image that was broadcasted, they were looked at as different. And maybe I depicted the woman as a Karen. So now when she steps out of the house, she's villainized. That's what it's like being black in America. That's what it's like being black in Hollywood. You didn't have any say in the narrative, right? And it's one of the reasons.
That's facts.
It's one of the reasons that. Say it again.
I said no. That's facts. That's the truth.
Yeah, and it's one of the reasons that it's important that we not only make strides to own media, but see the importance of it, because there is listen, for most people in America, media is their higher education, right? Sadly, they're here right now defending ideas and defending talking points that they've never researched themselves. They've only saw it on a meme. They don't really, and some of them are getting shot in the face with rubber bullets and don't know necessarily, what they're defending. They might be out there waving what's that flag? The Confederate flag. They don't. The only information that they have on it was something that was given to them through media.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And so that's just to show you how indoctrinated we are, easily indoctrinated we are by the system, that we're actually willing to go out and fight on behalf of talking points that were handed to us through, these platforms. So it's important to understand that people really trust media, whether they want to or not. And it's important to understand that it's a powerful medium. So I'm just trying to be, I'm hoping that with this movie, I've kind of like gotten people to look at things differently. When a brother gets out of jail, look at the way that the system might be set up. You know what I mean? Understand why, even though they just want you to get a 9 to 5, why you need to go out there and really pursue bigger things for yourself. Understand the importance of owning your content. And that's that friggin' entrepreneurial mind that this character, Tijuana Jackson, TJ,
he has a hustle.
Yeah, he's stuck in that mode of like, I need better for me. And that's what I'm hoping inspires folks.
Yeah. Oh, well, we seriously love everything you're saying. The audience is typing so many things, and I think this has been such an inspiration. And how can we watch the film? I know it's available Friday, but how can we watch it? Like where?
You can watch this film pretty much anywhere on demand. So that means like iTunes, Apple TV, Google Play, Amazon, Vudu, Fandango Now. You pretty much name a platform you can get stuff on, you can watch it. I tried to get it on Pornhub, but because I know that it's got a built-in audience, but they never really got back to me. But you can do what you do.
Right. Well, that's incredible.
Go check out Tijuana Jackson this Friday.
Yes.
It's friggin' hilarious.
Well, we can't wait to see it. And thank you so much for your time. And thank you for using your platform to spread a message. We appreciate that.
Nah, same to you. Thank you very much. Have a blessed one.
Absolutely.
Good talking to you. Bye.
Thank you. You too.